From characters that are as small as a single cell to ones that are literally the size of galaxies, anime characters truly do come in all shapes and sizes. So today I'm gonna show you every size of character and how they stack up to each other in this anime size comparison. So get out your measuring sticks and let's see who's the biggest, baddest, and tiniest character around. And speaking of, I actually had to work pretty hard to find the actual tiniest anime character out there because he is so small you can't even see him with the naked eye. But luckily, I had my handy dandy microscope lying around so that I could see this red blood cell called erythrocyte from the series Cells at Work. And if some microbiologist can please sound off in the comments about how badly I pronounced that, I'd really appreciate it. Now, erythrocyte and her counterpart neutrophil, who's a white blood cell, are, well, literally cells carrying out duties inside a living body. And honestly, until someone makes up a character named Adam, the friendly Atom, it doesn't get much smaller than a single-celled organism, I think. And so luckily with our next character, I can actually trade out my microscope for just a simple magnifying glass as I check out the 10-centimeter tall Myoga, a flea demon from Inuyasha. That's about 4 inches for you Americans out there, and I don't know about you, but this entry is making me feel a little bit itchy. But now, scaling up all the way to a quite impressive 61 centimeters or 2 feet tall is 𝗕𝗚𝗚𝗘𝗦𝗧 from Dragon Ball, the lovable shape-shifting animal. And hey, actually, what is 𝗕𝗚𝗚𝗘𝗦𝗧 supposed to be? A cat? Rabbit? Tanuki? Also, is 𝗕𝗚𝗚𝗘𝗦𝗧 just like this, or did they intentionally transform into like a weird non-existent animal for funsies? Anyways, 𝗕𝗚𝗚𝗘𝗦𝗧 is about the height of a standard mini-fridge for scale. Next, Mineta, My Hero Academia's pervy great boy, is 3 feet 6 inches or about 107 centimeters tall, including his hair orbs, that is. His horps, I guess. I've just discovered an awful new syllable, and his dignity is even smaller than his stature. And funnily enough, Mineta is actually exactly the same height as Sailor Chibi-Moon, Sailor Moon's time travel future daughter, but neither of the two can actually stack up to Dragon Ball's Krillin, who is a whole 3'9" tall. That's 114 centimeters. And to be clear, that is the version of Krillin in Dragon Ball. As an adult, he would grow up to be a whole 5 feet tall, but my short king still pulled Android 18. For comparison, Mineta, Sailor Chibi-Moon, and Chibi Krillin would all stand lower than even a regular hockey goal, which is just about 4 feet tall. Now that of course doesn't mean that they should give up on their dreams as a goalkeeper quite yet, because they still have some room to grow. And while we're actually at it though, let's round up a few more short kings who deserve a shout out here as well. Because adult Krillin would tower over characters like Hitsugaya from Bleach, who became a Shinigami captain even though he's a child standing only 4 feet and 4 inches or 132 centimeters tall. Or another famously tiny anime character is Edward Elric. Because the protagonist of Full Metal Alchemy is extremely self-conscious of his height, standing only at 4 feet 11 or about 150 centimeters. And our final short king is the 5'2" Levi Ackerman, who doesn't need any more than 157 centimeters to dice up titans left and right. A true David and Goliath story if you ask me. But of course, I do know that none of you are here to sweat the small stuff. You want to go really big. And so let's take things up a notch here with a Shinigami that's much taller than Hitsugaya and is from a completely different series. Because yeah, this is the death god Ryuk from the series Death Note, who stands around 229 centimeters tall, which is about 7'6". And honestly, when Ryuk isn't enabling sociopaths or chomping down on apples, this dude should really try out for the NBA, because effortless dunks from this guy right here. But already our next representative is so tall, he'd have a really hard time crunching down to put the ball even in the basket. In fact, at this point, we're just throwing out the centimeters now and just gonna go with the plain old meters, because Whitebeard from One Piece is 21'10" or about 6.7 meters tall. In other words, that's well over the height of 2 basketball hoops stacked on top of each other. But even even though this human being is supersized, even the manliest character in One Piece is practically microscopic compared to other characters coming up next. Because even this ultimate man of all man still stands a full head below Diane the Giant from the 7 Deadly Sins, who measures in at 9 meters tall or 29 feet and 6 inches. But yeah, we want to go bigger, and so exactly twice the height of this literal giant is the average mobile suit mecha from Gundam. And yeah, I'm gonna be very careful to call them mobile suits here and not just Gundams collectively, so the worlds of giant robot fans doesn't come after me, please. Obviously, there is a ton of different mobile suits out there, almost as many as there are different Gundam series to watch, I figure, and all of them have quite varying heights, but a good average Gundam height is about 18 meters tall. And in case you're wondering, that's about as tall as a sperm whale is long. You know, whales known for being some of the most massive creatures, at least as far as members of the animal kingdom go, just for a bit of context here. But coming in next, and even taller than your favorite brand of mecha, is the very appropriately named Mount Lady from My Hero Academia. At 67 foot 7 inches or a whooping 20.6 meters tall, Mount Lady might very well be the tallest heroine out there. And yet, shockingly though, Mount Lady isn't even the tallest character in My Hero Academia alone, because she is still quite a lot shorter than the even more appropriately named Gigantomachia. And boy, he really is Giganto at 82 feet or 25 meters tall, but even as Giganto as he is a itty bitty little kitten compared to all of these entries coming up next. In fact, everything so far is pretty much child size compared to our next colossal entry. A monster of truly titanic proportions. Okay, I'm gonna stop telegraphing it already. You know what's coming. It's the Colossal Titan from Attack on Titan. At 60 meters tall, it can easily peer over the walls on Paradise Island, but since most of you probably don't have a 60-meter wall to reference, that puts the Colossal Titan at the height of a 20-story building. So please go out and check out the nearest skyscraper and get counting floors, and then say, oh shit, when you realize how tall that actually is. But save some of that bewilderment still for the next entry, because of course it gets a lot taller. And big shocker, it's a One Piece one again. I swear I'm not biased. One Piece just has some really big characters. You'd be more impressed if you realized how many One Piece characters I'm leaving off of this list. And this next huge One Piece character is Ors, an ancient giant zombie that stands even taller than the Colossal Titan at 67 meters or 220 feet high, which basically means that he stands as tall as the 747's wingspan is long. However, Attack on Titan would like to have a word with Ors to get their title back, because it still has one Titan even more massive than the colossal one, and that of course is Eren Yeager's very creepy looking skeletal founding Titan form from the climax of the series, which absolutely dwarfs even the tallest Titans we've seen in the series so far. It stands at least 200 meters or 656 feet high. And there's actually no official confirmation of that height itself, but given how the Wall Titans can comfortably walk beneath it with plenty of room to spare, 200 meters is still at the low end of estimates, though it could be as tall as even 400 meters. Like, math is hard, y'all. Please apologize. Now, the next entry totally shocked me though, because I did not realize that this guy was so massive, and it's actually the nine-tailed beast from Naruto, better known as Kurama. Because usually when we see Kurama interacting with Naruto inside of his subconscious, well, he's actually scaled down quite a bit. In fact, same with Naruto's Jinchuriki forms when his chakra takes on the shape of the Nine-Tails around him. But going all the way back to the Nine-Tails' initial assault on the Hidden Leaf village before Kurama was then sealed inside of Naruto's tum-tum, this chakra monster was absolutely gargantuan. How big are we talking? Well, 300 meters or 984 feet tall, which is just shy of the height of the literal Eiffel Tower. Or if that's too normal a comparison for you. Strangely enough, it's also the exact same height as Godzilla Earth from the series Godzilla Planet of Monsters, and this is the largest version of the world's most famous kaiju to date, which means that the Ninetales makes every other Godzilla so far look tiny. You know, the Godzillas that casually level cities to the ground, but yeah, that's still less than a third of the size of our next character, and it's only getting bigger from here on out. In fact, every single entry from here on out stands a lot taller than Dubai's Burj Khalifa, which is currently the world's tallest skyscraper. Starting with a character at an estimated 1,000 meters tall or 3,280 feet, which is the Ikuza Tsunagi from Fairy Tail. Now, this is one of the 18 battle gods that can be summoned by the Yakuma clan. And like many entries on this list, it's kind of hard to actually estimate its exact height because mangaka typically don't give us exact measurements and the scaling can change from panel to panel. And that's actually why I'm starting a petition for each Shonen Jump publication to feature at least a tiny hidden meter stack in every chapter, like a Panda Man of measurement, if you get my drift. But one thing that is for certain here though is that the Ikuza Tsunagi is absolutely gigantuous. I mean, for context, if it just crouched a little bit, it could actually take a quite refreshing shower in Venezuela's Angel Falls, coincidentally the world's tallest waterfall. But if you're still thinking that's not nearly tall enough, don't worry, we got our next character, which is the Dragon King 𝗕𝗓𝗚 from Toriko, which has a body length of 4,000 meters. In fact, feet aren't even gonna cut it anymore at this point for my Americans, so we're gonna say that this thing is 2.5 miles long. And since it's kind of getting hard to visualize these, for reference, 4,000 meters is the average depth of the Pacific Ocean itself. For context, this ancient dragon is one of the 8 kings and rules the Area 1 of the gourmet world. And within its domain, gourmet hunters can search for the legendary cure water ingredient. And you know, just judging off the name, I'm sure that this water is quite rejuvenating and the dragon is probably very delicious if you can find an oven big enough to cook it. However, worming and squirming its way in at 5,000 meters or 3 miles long is the Elder Centipede, a supersized member of the Monster Association from One Punch Man. And that makes this creepy, crawly creature almost as long as Mount Kilimanjaro is tall. However, as we know, it doesn't really matter whether the centipede is normal bug-sized or mountain-sized. All it really takes is one serious slap from Saitama to send it into early retirement. And next up, okay, I do promise this is gonna be the last One Piece character on this list for real, but how could you make a list of anime-sized comparisons without including this big boy, which is the giant elephant Zunisha? Now, this elephant has actually lived for many, many centuries, walking through the oceans of the One Piece world, and it's so enormous that it casually carries an entire civilization and country on its back. Now, Zunisha's official height is 35,000 meters or 22 miles tall, and it's kind of unclear how much of that height is actually submerged into the ocean, but comparing this to just about anything gets really, really difficult because Mount Everest is the tallest thing on Earth and Zunisha is like 4 of those stacked on top of each other. In fact, going from the sea level, if it stood on land, 35,000 meters would put you solidly into the stratosphere, which means that the One Piece world must be built quite differently than our planet Earth because the thin air and frigid temperatures up there would render any normal person very, very dead all the way up there. And interestingly enough, Zunisha is actually the largest non-cosmic level character that I could find, but up next, we're just gonna go really stupidly big. Now, if this wasn't just an anime-sized comparison, I might talk about Unicorn from Transformers, which is planet-sized, or Marvel's Galactus, who eats planets for breakfast, but this is an anime only, which means that our next one just jumps all the way up in scale to make even the giant elephant Zunisha look truly subatomic. And that next character is Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, a robot that experiences continual eternal growth powered by the drive of the human spirits. In the finale of Gurren Lagann, this robot and its pilots battle the Anti-Spiral, a similarly large entity within outer space. And as you can imagine, this fight just gets absolutely ludicrous, with Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann literally hurling whole galaxies at its opponent like ninja stars. And basically, Gurren Lagann's size is essentially incalculable, that there's no way to do a truly reliable measurement on it based on the source material, but it's fair to say that it's billions, and I mean billions with a B, of light years across. And for reference, since a single light year is like 9.4 trillion kilometers, this thing is just truly incomprehensibly big. But Manu, you say, a billion trillion kilometer tall character still is just not big enough for me. And don't you worry, I got you covered, because possibly even bigger than this already impossibly giant robot is Super Shenron from Dragon Ball Super. Now this dragon is also inconceivably massive. When it's summoned though, it clearly is many times larger than the galaxies that surround it. In fact, so big that there's just no object that I can actually compare these cosmic entries to, because simply put, there is nothing in the universe that even comes close to rivaling their size. And so if you wished for a truly massive dragon, well, your wish has been granted maybe a little bit too much. But if you thought that the video was over here, you're wrong, because there's actually one other character in anime that's even bigger than Super Shenron, which does seem impossible, but he is literally a significant percentage of the entire universe big. And this one is actually also from another mecha anime, but I actually do have to turn back the clock a little bit to the 1970s, a series called 𝗕𝗓𝗚𝗚𝗘𝗦𝗧. And in this series, there is a mecha called 𝗕𝗓𝗚𝗚𝗘𝗦𝗧 that exists in the far future, which is massive and ever expanding. Basically, it continually absorbs matter into itself on a truly universal scale, making its eventual size infinite, or in other words, the size of the universe itself. It is the literal biggest character in anime history because its size is truly infinite. By definition, it doesn't get bigger than that. But of course, if this video about size somehow triggered your insecurities, definitely didn't do it for me, then there's no need to feel inferior at all. After all, size isn't everything. I mean, it must be so cold and lonely out there in outer space for a character as big as 𝗕𝗓𝗚𝗚𝗘𝗦𝗧. And I mean, probably the only thing colder than the dark depths of space are all the freezing cold characters in this video, where we rank and explain every single ice user in anime. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider to like, share, subscribe. I know it's very annoying, but it does really help out a small channel like this. Otherwise, I hope to see you in the next one, and thank you so much for watching.